that's essentially the whole thing live. How cool is that?
Superb. Right, I'll switch mine off then.
It's also known as the why we can't have nice things rig. Because essentially, once you can do that, if you've got the sort of brain that connects one bit of technology to another and goes, oh, there's got to be a way of adapting that so it works, then who knows what you're going to get up to. You're certainly not going to be popular with the police or the government. You probably shouldn't come up with any philosophical ideas that actually work. Probably shouldn't do any of that. Got an all follow now, it's steady. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Is that the right one? Yeah. Yeah, mode 4 is the one you want for this sort of thing.
Yeah.
You don't lose all the movement. It's not counting out everything, but it just does ease it off. And it's all one-handed operation. Ooh. Yeah. Ready. So do you want to go? Do you want to be cameraman?
Yep. Yep. Oh, be on camera?
No, as in, you can be camera dude.
Yep.
Got somewhere to click that. Yeah. All right.
Hello, Eric.
Hello. Oh, you're in trouble now, man.
Go on, Eric.
Yeah.
You come.
Has he got a dog?
No.
No. Oh, it's okay then.
Well, not here. Right, that's... Yeah.
Oh, I've forgotten how to focus on this when it's in live view. Does it focus on?
Yeah, put it on. Before with the image stabilizer. I couldn't find anywhere better to put this on. I thought that would be fine.
Yeah. How do you get it to autofocus? How do you get it to do its thing?
Well, I thought it was half shutter.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I've been using. So if that's not been working, then
Oh,
all of that stuff before would be out of focus, or possibly out.
I'm sure I figured it out the other day as well. Oh. Try not to film people. It means editing if you put anybody else in the shot.
Particularly if they're young.
Yeah, absolutely. It's probably a bad time to wander down there. Or the other side. Yeah. Oh, great, it's finished.
the manual focus feature.
And the way they've felled the trees up there,
Yeah.
and basically got their logs jammed up against the stumps.
Yeah.
You know, that's the shit I've been talking about. Proper rewild it. Let things rot. Humans are always too quick to remove debris from forests. But it serves a very good purpose. Or it's supposed to, anyway.
There's essentially someone using my rear.
Yeah, it's a doddle. It's so beautifully steady. And we've just got the best of places to come and play. But I'm short of that profound punchline at the minute.
Yep, right. Well, some of this is just tactical, really. But considering just with that battery that you've got there, you could record for another hour easily on that battery. And there's probably about 4 hours worth of battery of SD card space just on that SD card.
Yeah,
So
well,
my camera pack contains 5 batteries and about 5 of those.
it's
don't give me
amazing.
SD cards.
The question is, what's this baby like in lower light?
It's not too bad. It's not horrific. It's slightly less good than my own eyesight. So if you've got a bit of light, it will be pretty bright. You can see stuff in like a nightscape or whatever. Sort of like cityscape is fine, but you do need a little bit of light. You can't film in the dark unless you've got some sort of light source. I'm working on that though.
Yeah, I mentioned that Sony RX. The Sony RX 100 is, I think, it's the slightly bigger camera, but which has got it on it. The night view, but it was but definitely on the RX 0, which was compared against GoPro Hero, I think it was called.
Can I tell you what is interesting? Parrot make a night vision law enforcement drone. It's like exactly like one of their Bebop drones, but it's got like a high intensity night enhancing camera.
So interesting.
It's primarily aimed at law enforcement and insurance companies. And car accidents, because you can see more detail from the air, and if you've got like a night intensity, it will actually intensifies also certain wavelengths of light. So if there's still some thermal change on the road because the car skidded at a certain point, and the driver said they didn't skid to a point later than that, they can actually come up with tyre tracks and shit, film the entire accident sequence from the air, even at night. You know, you put some road flares out, and that's enough light for it to be able to see some amazing detail. So like you can be first up, you can be with it, you can be on the scene really quickly, and you can get an entire panoramic video of the immediate aftermath of an accident, from which you can tell all sorts of stuff. So you've now got this professional class of forensic insurance investigators who can literally do like sci-fi shit. Harrison Ford in Blade Runner wishes he had the technology that we've got today. You know, the level at which we're doing this isn't even prosumer. This is all consumer grade stuff.
Yeah, it's the
That rig is about everything.
the thing gone.
About 230 quid.
Last time I was down here, there was the shopping trolley down there. There's someone reclaimed it.
That would be weird.
Well, I can't see it. They don't usually float. But again, look what willows will do given the chance.
Yeah, you can marvel it.
They'll just get right into there. So leaky dams is the way that nature would do it anyway, given the time. Yep. So we just no, dump a load of willow literally as a dam, and it'll just fucking grow. We have a living, breathing dam, and beavers as well. Turns out they've been doing everyone a service.
Sorry, did you want to see?
And now it goes with the bionic beaver. Right, see, I'm alright. Oh, it moves around very nicely, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, you got a joystick for that.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
What have you done? Have you managed to turn it off? You turned off the...
Did I? Oh. Well, that's crap.
You turned it off.
It
Got a joystick. And adjust it all.
Whoops. But it had about 8 minutes of all right.
Turn your wrist.
Yeah.
Turn your wrist. Turn your wrist either anti-clock with the wrist that's holding the camera now. Turn it like 90 degrees. Do a pan. There you go. So it corrected the pan for you. It just slowed it right down. Figured out how fast it was going. And it is a good idea to sort of move these things constantly, but it will move with you.
There's something catching on it. It
Yeah,
seems.
probably the microphone cable, but you know, let it.
Yeah.
I don't mind if it's, you know, good sound is good sound.
There,
and you can't have that
that.
cable. Yeah, just let it. But, you know,
Judges
don't
like
just
that.
don't try and do overly crazy shit with it. It's like pan round like gently and stuff like that, slowly. You can move your wrist, because you want the camera to move as well.
Yeah.
It will smooth it out. Ignore the juddering. There's even some onboard compensation on the camera itself.
Right. So that's in F2. Oh no.
No, don't touch that.
That's just in the middle.
Leave
there.
that alone, because that tilts the camera on the horizontal plane.
And this button
That's
is
your mode button.
PF.
Currently in all follow, which is mode 4. Even though it's only blinking once. It's a long, slow blink. Basically, that's mode 4. Mode 1 is steady pan. Mode 2 is steady tilt. Mode 3 is lock. As in, lock all of it and just keep it pointing at the same thing, no matter how much you move around.
Yeah.
And mode 4 is all follow, which means it just follows you and just smooths out any movements it figures you're making. So you get steady shots, and you can turn the camera to point at stuff, and it'll just swing around slowly.
I'm definitely going to get one. And particularly for brighter gigs. It's just going to be fucking breeze on a boom.
Yeah, and boom poles are dirt cheap. You shouldn't spend more than about 10 quid on a boom pole. I mean, you can even make one. Just go and get a broomstick from Poundland. Put the right nut on the end. Job done. Just Araldite, one of those converters that gives you a little pointy bit. You know, a quarter 20 screw sticking out the top.
I need something that'll fold itself into itself like.
Yeah, I mean that's
exactly like
a little bit broken, that one, but I did get it for about a £5. So I'm good. I can deal with it not being as extendable as it could be, because I thought it was a monopod to start with, and then I slowly realised it was a boom pole, and just put the relevant attachments, and it just comes with it. You can even put like a microphone on it if you want. You can put a hot shoe mount on the top of that, so you can use it as a microphone boom instead of a camera boom. But it's too fun not to use it for the camera.
Yeah.
Because it just makes it much more possible to do it.
Yeah. So definitely going to get one of those. Oh,
Yeah, that section won't lock. You can hold it out like that, but it's a bit wobbly. It's the bottom two sections that you can unscrew, so it comes out to about 1.5 meters.
yeah. I'll leave it as it is. I won't play around with it.
You can do. It's just like a hiking stick. I mean, this is the point of it. Yeah, twist that round, and the next one up.
That one.
Oh, hold on.
I'm in danger
You
of
hold that.
unscrewing it, I think.
So you've got this whole long, you can do like crane shots. And you can do a push zoom if you wanted to.
You can't have a remote
What?
to the to the camera. So if you had it in place, you know,
Yeah,
on
I've got one out the camera. Can you hold that?
yeah.
Let me just turn off the gimbal a second. Okay. Okay, so I'll go to okay. Hold it up. No, it's really cool. You set it up to automatically motion capture and pan around. You can program it through various work points and it will do a time lapse for you. Set that to record and it will do like a whole.
It's astonishingly good.
That's me moving it with my phone. I'm just saying that because
Yeah.
it was obvious what I was doing to anybody that wasn't watching because you might use this bit.
So smooth.
And you can do that. Get it to recenter. It's just got a recenter button, so if you ever get too far out of whack, you just hit it. But you've also got a recenter button on the gimbal. You can just punch this button twice, and it will just lock it, just pop it back. Yeah, it's a nifty thing. You can connect to the camera via Wi-Fi too. Loving this phone. That's why I got the phone upgrade.
I'll do it that way around.
That's why I got the phone upgrade. Because it was
Yeah.
just like, right, I would be buying an Android 8 or better phone anyway, like a super cheap one, just to run that software. And then my phone crapped out, or sort of like, just crapped out enough for it to be annoying. In that I can charge the phone batteries outside of the mobile phone and put them in, and then I can replace them, because I've got 3 batteries for it. But that would be a major pain. You wouldn't be able to keep it topped up or charged up at work. So instead of that, I figured it was probably better to just upgrade the phone, because I can still run the positioning software from my old phone.
Yeah.
So I can do positioning and I can have a Wi-Fi channel open for the camera. And you can control all the camera settings and whether it's recording or not from a phone as well. So if you've got 2 phones or a phone and a tablet. But the Huddle's, the Android is Android 4, so it won't support the software to do that. So yeah, 2 phones that can just about run it. You can't do the time-lapse thing with my old phone, but it will allow you to reposition the head and stuff like that and track it round and stuff. So yeah. But you've only got 10 meters to control the gimbal with, because it's Bluetooth, not Wi-Fi. So you can't be that
Right.
far away if you want to move it. I mean, 10 meters, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
not bad.
Yeah. We're not filming you two at Wembley or anything.
Yeah. But yeah, you could put it up high at a gig and then just move it round and remotely without them to touch it. And know that it'd do it reasonably smoothly. It's a bit tricky to control, but you can slow it down. You can slow the whole gimbal down, or you can speed it up using the app on the phone. And calibrate the gimbal as well. Yeah, it's...
Astonishingly useful.
Let's go up here. Let's go up. Just don't want to accidentally film people. So this is kind of like a cross between a walk in the woods footage and a review.
But this is, you know, it's just one of those putting stuff together until it all does its thing. It's probably why I shouldn't own a 3D printer.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Comes out the other side. It's good.
Yeah. And a new path is born.
That's humans for you.
What other animals will do it as well. If you had if this place was full of herbivores,
Yeah.
they'd tend to make their own paths as they go, and then you have the
Yeah, if you get up early enough and you've got like a dewy field, you can see, and it's like quite high grass, you can see all the deer paths in it. Even around here. There are definitely deer around here. Because they're extremely good at being away from people. Like really good at it.
well, it's that in their nature to be able to be undetected by predators or hard to detect. You know, just because we've removed the predator doesn't mean that they don't still
We've got plenty of other stuff
have
you
that
know,
mentality.
We might not have wolves, but there's plenty of other stuff that can kill a deer. Just in existing, even if it's not a human that takes them out. There's plenty of other hazards like traffic and stuff. So, and they haven't got much habitat, so you know they tend to starve in the winter if there's too many of them. Not like they can roam across the entire country anymore. It's a patchwork of little bits of wood.
Yeah.
So they've adapted to us pretty well.
Well, they're probably thinking that they got a better, much better deal than cattle or sheep.
Well, you know, deer that don't learn about humans or cars or crossing roads don't tend to survive in order to procreate, do they? Natural selection in action in our lifetimes.
Or however long it takes.
Intelligent deer are rewarded by not being dead. If there was a super competent, you know, natural predator for us, you know, after a few generations, only relatively smart people will make it. With up their general intelligence and adaptability around humans. You know, radical sort of thought. Isn't this nice?
Hey, dandy.
Yeah, so that really is like a 4-part solution.
Is it off?
Is there anything flashing on it?
No. That's it.
Oh, at least we'll get a chance of seeing what unsteady shots on the camera look like.
Yeah.
I mean, you holding it on the boom will have chilled it out a little bit, and it's got onboard gyro stabilisation on the camera itself, and that's on. So, you be the judge if you're watching this. You'll see bits where, you know, the gimbal's on and where the gimbal's not on. I do like I am grateful that Firefly put a blue, when you're recording, the blue light on the front flashes.
All right. Yeah. Well, that means the subject can see it.
And it's got a little selfie mirror on the front, so if you can see yourself in the selfie mirror, in the little...
Oh
silver
right.
button,
Oh, you can
then
see there.
You're
It's
basically,
flashing. Oh yes.
you're basically in shot. It's not super accurate because it's to the left of the lens as you're looking at it, but it's close enough with that kind of wide angle that, you know, like if your face is filling that little mirror, you're in shot. Probably a little way on the left-hand side as you can see in it, but that's a comfortable place to see people. It also means good guy in cinema language. Good guys enter from the left, bad guys enter from the right. Yeah, on stage, if you look at it, you're on your left. And they even do that with stage exits. Good guys exit to the left and bad guys exit to the right.
Smells a bit whiffy down here.
Yeah. Like you're in the woods. If you're walking in a nicely smelling city street with thousands of people, or you can go on the woods on your own where it smells a little bit. I'll take the woods on my own. As would all of my viewers. Go Zoo Echoes. I want to see footage of you doing the agogi. I haven't got a very big audience at the moment. As we're recording this, I've got 21 subscribers.
That's a bigger audience than
That's
mine.
well, that's a small enough number that basically, if they ever do anything or send me a comment or want me to mention something or do something, I can do it.
Left, right?
Either. Actually left, definitely. Right, just goes on for a bit. Have a sit in a minute.
Do you have a spot up here?
Yeah, a little bit.
Right, so what eats bracken?
Yeah.
They do eat it, do they? Oh, in that case we need a few more of them.
Don't walk in bracken. Worst place you can walk.
Because
Ticks.
what?
Ticks.
Ticks.
Ticks are not good. Or a hornet. Almost buzzing. Why? As I disturb them, they'll always be seen. That's a nice view, isn't it? Fair enough, it's a bit artificial. But it is trees as far as you can see in every direction.
Try that slow pan.
I'm wondering how many people watch these videos with the sound turned down. So they don't have to hear me talk about it.
I think it's because of that hair grip.
Yeah.
I think that's jamming like that. Can I bring that
pop
down?
it down.
Which obviously now makes that a bit. Come on.
That's fine. You don't need any extension to the length on
Yeah.
the distance from the gimbal to the camera. It's not going to move that.
You can see, right. So the feeling is that it's we've got a sort of, and what it is, it's that going over there.
Yeah.
So it's just cable arrangement.
Yeah, I'll fix it. I've got some
Yeah.
straight cables. It's just the coily cable was out of the way, but I've got some short stereo to stereo cables, which is what that is. This is how dangerous I can be with only me. In Urban Agoge, semester 2.
Okay, let's go from scratch on how to deal and use Ubuntu. Now we're going to do some creative software. Now we're going to talk about 3D printing. Everybody feeling all competent? Good. The guy on one of the videos had the model of 3D printer I bought plugged in, set up and printing within 45 minutes of getting the box. Fair enough, he actually knew what he was doing with leveling the bed and shit. But there is a bed leveling program. You literally slide a piece of paper under the nozzle, run the bed leveling program, and it'll just adjust it, or because you're basically just to feel whether the paper snags or not. If it just about goes through, that's the right height above the bed. That's at 0 point.
What's this plastic, for example? You know.
No idea. Probably on the bottom. Probably say something widely recyclable. I'm already recycling these things.
Drink more fruit. Oh, hang on. Yeah, there is a symbol, and it's a triangle, and you probably need to fill the bottle with something else so you can actually read it. Oh, it's a 1. I think it's a 1. And it's got some writing on the bottom that I can't read. Yeah, exactly. It's something like that. But anyway, right. So in the field of hydroponics, whenever you go into those shops, obviously all the products are arranged on the shelves in all these lovely colours. But there's only a couple of 2 or 3 varieties of plastic amongst them.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been recorded.
Yeah. Yeah, the hydroponics industry is what it is.
You have grown some fantastic tomatoes.
Mountain chilies, I refer to them. When Traffic, the band, it was first got together in been about 66 or 67, and they basically decamped to a house with no electricity in Berkshire to get to get in the mood and do some writing and recording.
Yeah.
And the record company noticed they were getting through an awful lot of apple yogurt, which on the expenses. Apple yogurt was what they called the weed. They got through quite a lot. But yeah. So obviously, once your service users of the hydroponics industry finish your bottles, it's like, for the most part, people ordinarily would recycle them. But this select bunch are paranoid about people seeing what the stuff is. So and again, it's like, how can you grab that
turn it into printer filament
before they take it to the tip and use it for printer filament? And I tried to sell this idea to them in the shop. I say, look, if they can bring this stuff to you, you can.
That warrants some further research, because if you could turn it into printer filament, that'd be awesome. You just print it into all kinds of groovy shit. And just printing it into a bomb. Just moving it one stage down the production. Just making yourself a little ABS bong or a pipe.
No. You plastic. You want glass. You want a bit of quality in there.
Be interesting. Or you
sorry. Sorry.
3D printed stash boxes.
I apologise. Yes,
so
you
basically
sorry.
moved it along the chain of responsibility for safe use and safe disposal.
Proof of concept. Yeah. Do it. Try it. Yeah, it worked. Let's do something else.
Box. You could custom make them if the person's ready to okay to come back tomorrow. You said, like, it will be your stash box. I mean, do you want Steve's stash box etched into the top of it, or do you want a lion, or whatever? Anything you can think of, we can probably do. Because Gus here is a wizard at this 3D printing thing, and all he's going to do is find a design and a font and push it into the 3D print somehow to put lettering into it.
Yeah.
Because it will do lettering. It doesn't have to be graphically set out. There is fonts for stuff like that. So yeah. So you could have your own custom stash box with an image etched into the top of it and in the colour that you want, as long as you come back tomorrow when it's finished 3D printing.
Ah, oh right. So
You know,
are we picking colours in a way by this plastic's different colour to that one? Is that basically how we're looking at it?
no, but you can add if you got different coloured bottles in.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be fairly transparent, but it would be etched in, and you could just rub in some wax to make it come up, just a bit of boot polish to make it line up. If you etched it shallowly,
Right.
but it'd probably be transparent. You could have any design you liked, and then you could have, well, we do a service where we put a bit of paint in it so it shows up really well.
Okay.
It's
So,
really easy to do.
so for me,
Just the sort of paint that you use to paint miniatures. Just like what you do is you get something warm like a hairdryer, and you put in a wash of that ink to pick out all the bits, and you sort of slowly brush it out until there's a bit of the ink in, then you just hair dryer it.
I did all the Games Workshop shit. I did all the.
Well, that's another thing. It's like I might get into Warhammer 40k if I don't have to pay like 10 quid for 5 Space Marines. I just print them off. They take about 5 minutes to print. There's another tactical Space Marine sprue. There's another tactical Space Marine. There's a Tau Warrior. 10 quid for a kilo of filament. 10 quid for a kilo of miniatures.
Now we're interested. Wow.
Thingiverse, man. Why do you think I was tinkering with Thingiverse when you walked in? I was seeing how easy it was to download and layer it. And in fact, for some things it only takes like a couple of minutes to finish the layering thing. And then you just say export to micro SD card. And you plug the micro SD card into your 3D printer, select that name of the file that you've given it. So, Space Marine, or Hinge, or Clip, or whatever you feel the urge to make or do. And there's plenty of already downloadable ones, but the CAD software to produce the relevant file, you know, is free. That Thingiverse and that slicing software, the file preparation software, was running in Ubuntu fine. I selected the printer that is a MakerBot, whatever, is the one that I've ordered. It was in the list. That's the one you're supposed to use. We can only try it out, but it just basically processed the file and let me have a look at it. Told me whether I wanted any support material or a skirt to hold it down to the print bed. And now my responsibility is making sure that the temperature is right for the PLA.
Oh, is that?
No, not someone going the other way. But yeah, so there's a bit of tinkering involved. You're probably best off printing a few small blocks to start with that take about 2 or 3 minutes, so you can check them and make sure everything's straight.
Yeah.
And that the PLA's not smoking as it's coming out and general shit like that. But enough people have seen those, because they were $500 in the States, which is about 450 quid. Now they're down to 150 quid because other 3D print technology's coming out like resin and carbon fibre printing. And I think carbon fibre printing is going to be a biggie. But it's a bit expensive at the moment to get the toner that you use to print the stuff in carbon fibre, because you can't reuse it. I mean, you tip it into a thing, and probably it's a good idea to send it back to them so they can repowderize it properly.
Yeah.
So it will go through the print heads again and send it out. Maybe you could get a discount deal where you get so many pounds of it to them and they send you £2 back of usable. That's probably how it would have to happen. But they haven't got all the wrinkles out of it yet. There might be a really cheap mill that you can just put the carbon through once, you know, the spare carbon out of the 3D, because they're basically fused out of a box of carbon powder, layer by layer with the print head. And it sort of shakes itself to level the carbon powder back out again, so it's pretty dangerous because, you know, really fine carbon powder. But you should supposedly be able to do it with gypsum as well. Just fuse gypsum with a laser to make 3D prints. That's like the dust that's on lots of players and stuff like that. But you would be able to recycle plaster dust. So plasterboard would be worth something to a scrapper.
Calcium.
You know, offcuts of plasterboard wouldn't be in tips or in landfill.
Calcium sulfate. That's what it is.
So there's lots of things coming in 3D printing. It's not possible to predict where it's going to go, but I wanted to show where the consumer level, now that's a sensible price thing, is at. You can go, right, this is 3D printing without any of the hassles. Finally, it's like Ubuntu was to Linux. You know, we finally got pre-3D printing and you look at it and go, yeah, I'm in. At that price point, 150 quid, yes, I might have to save up. I might have to scrimp a bit, but I can have that. You know, I'll only have to from designing, I want it. It could be as little as 3 or 4 weeks to a normal person on minimum wage before they can go, I can afford that, I'm getting it.
Well, my first thing I'd like to find out in regard to that is what other plastics can be used in there as well.
Yeah, there's a list. I'll show you when we get back. I like the idea of using the wood filament. I'd like to have the machine where you can just pour sawdust and some kind of adhesive like PVA into an extruder, and it just runs you out 3D printing wood filament.
Well, it's basically low density fibre board, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, it's like yeah. Well,
it's incredibly tough stuff because each layer is bonded to the layer below it at like 0.1 millimeters.
yeah. So
It's literally suffused with the glue that holds it together. It's really dense.
It's all in the glue, but MDF is made, but with formaldehyde as the glue, and you don't really want that to be involved.
Yeah, I mean, you probably need to look into it a bit more. I'm just saying that's as far as my research has taken me. I think I'm going to learn more by doing it than I will just by reading up on it. And given that it's just a compact thing, I've just got to find it a bit of desk space and dick about with it because it comes already pretty much assembled. You just have to screw in the actual print nozzle to the little bay that it sits in on the X, Y and Z axis. You just got to put in 2 screws. That's it. That's your entire input to assembling it. And they recommend you tighten up all the screws. You've got some little plastic feet for it to sit on to cut down on vibration as the head's moving across. They give you a whole kilo of filament. You know, they give you the little filament holder thing so it can feed in, and the little tubes it feeds in through the filament and the power supply and all the software. They give you all that.
Can't wait to see it.
But I don't think a lot of it I'll really care about because it's software so you can connect your computer to it. And I don't really need to do that yet. I'm just going to copy the files and select the file to print on the printer itself. Because you set up all the parameters on the printer, on the computer, then you've got the file that's got all the information the printer needs. Put that into the printer, select that file name, tell it to print, and away you go. Because in the software, before it puts the file together, you're setting out how fast it prints, how high the layers are, how fast it should feed the stuff through and shit like that. So the fewer layers you print, the quicker it's going to print. So you could just set something up with like a really rough copy and it'll take like 15-20 minutes. And then you can go for a slightly more polished one where the layers are a third as high and it's all smooth.
Might be able to make hemp fibre board. I've often wondered about it.
It'd have to be real dry before you did it. Wouldn't that be awesome? Make boxes made of hemp fibre.
Yeah. No. Because I've been thinking why
That'd be a hell of a stack box.
why haven't they made hemp thick fibreboard which can be used as external
because then they would have to admit
cladding.
that the hemp family can be useful plants.
But it's too late. The secret's out.
Yeah, I know, but you don't have to be all that enlightened to figure that out. But you have to be partially enlightened, and the people that vote for, say, the Conservative Party, or the people that cast the most votes are kind of conservative, even if they vote Labour. They don't want too much to change too fast. And the people that are trying to get elected know that. That's why they don't really bring it up. That's why you only get legalised marijuana from the Greens, because the people who vote Green tend to read the odd book or the odd newspaper or the odd article or watch something that's to do with the subject they're into. They're likely to watch a documentary about something they don't know much about and educate themselves and say, well, actually, on the basis of it, with the science that we have, legalising cannabis would be a great idea. You know, the world would be provably a happier place. There would be less crime. People would be less stressed out. And it's a cash crop where you can have an industry in the country that produces here, you can grow it here easily in vast numbers should you have the backing of some money. You know, the only reason it's not grown in gigantic warehouses and things up and down the country in the same way something like rhubarb is because nobody can make any serious money off it, so you can't attract any really major investment.
That's not
to
true.
actually drive the price down.
No, because the legal, the sanctioned businesses that grow the cannabis in the UK have made cannabis. The UK is the world's largest exporter of cannabis.
Yeah.
Which is bonkers, but and all the people who are tied into it, they're all connected to the Conservative Party.
Oh yeah. You weren't expecting anything less than hypocrisy, were you? Seriously.
I'm just saying that that the Tories themselves are fully aware of the potential of the plant, at least on the medicinal side.
Oh, everybody's aware of it. We've done enough research.
But it's the
Somebody said, oh,
it's-
well, when the research is in, and the person, I can't remember who was interviewing him about it, and he said, well, there have been 25,000 papers on the safety issues and the effects of cannabis, and it only took 1,000 papers for what was the one that he used? It was like oxycodone. There were 1,000 papers produced for oxycodone to say that it was safe and should be approved by the FDA, and there have been 20,000 papers on cannabis to say it's safe and it should be approved by the FDA. No one has ever overdosed on cannabis. That's all you really need to know about the drug. I mean, you know it. You can see it impairs some cognition and reflexes. It slows down your reflexes and generally chills you out. And it's a soporific. So you can't have it. You can't have people operate heavy machinery stoned. You can't have someone driving a crane or a bulldozer when they're off their tits. So it's got to be regulated in the way as alcohol. It's like, yeah, go home, drink a 6-pack, smoke 6 joints if you can. If you need that much calming down and you're still conscious after 6 joints, you probably needed them. You know, but if you didn't, you just unwound yourself. You chilled out and you weren't just freaked out. You could cope with your PTSD because you've got 40 years of proof that giving veterans with PTSD cannabis chills them the fuck out and they tend to not commit suicide.
What?
You know, I know, and basically, yes, it's nice to get stoned at the end of the day in the same way as it's nice to have a couple of gin and tonics at the end of the day. But the problem that I think governments really have with it is it makes you creative.
yeah, not particularly compliant either.
Yeah, it does reduce your compliance to bullshit, which governments don't like. There we go, down there. There's a little bit of a scramble.
That one or this one? This one.
I think this one. You have an action shot of Miles.
Right. Oh, this goes on forever.
Yeah.
Are we going back? Are we coming back on ourselves? Bye.
We are definitely coming back on ourselves. We can go that way. That just leads you to the path as well. We can go over the bridge if you like,
Yeah.
if you're still up for being out.
Right. It's lovely around here.
You know, we're only 10 minutes from home at any real one point.
I know that's the crackers thing. It's even closer than Chorlton Water Park is to me.
You're just there in 5 minutes. It is one of the reasons I really wanted to move here. As well as, you know, having somewhere to live. Oh yeah. That goes up a bit. I don't think I've really been to the nth of up here. I think it comes out to a bit of a hill with an overlook. And you can see all the trees. Kind of panoramic.
Yeah, looking at it on Google Maps,
Let's go on for a way.
the satellite picture. Yeah, but it's quite a thin ribbon.
Yeah.
But which I've never noticed.
But, well, it's because I go along
Yeah,
the river.
yeah,
rather than
obviously, yeah.
across it.
And it's like, oh right, that's it.
Because it's big enough and not that many people particularly use it. You don't have to go far to what most people say. When you've got a path like this, it's mostly full if it's been raining. For me.
Oh, a bit past there. There's a pylon.
They did do just a wide pass up. Give me a nice upward pan of that. Which way are you going on here though? It's pretty steep.
I imagine once you've gotten used to that, it's,
Yeah, it does take a little while. That is the first time you've even touched it.
yes.
You know, it's what I'm talking about. It's like it's an evolution.
That's a very. Is that a pig farm? I bet you it is.
No, it's a. Oh, it could be. No, I think it's recycling.
Recycling. Ah, well, that might account. For well, either of them could have accounted for that smell earlier. Recycling centres usually stink, depending on their filtration.
This is nice, man. That's why I try and get out every morning. I only didn't this morning because I was going about this in Manchester with Andy. And just as well I did.
That does grass grow in there? I think so.
Yeah, I was thinking that would make a pretty good drone flying field later on this summer when I've got the camera sorted out. Fancy being the pilot in a drone,
Go on.
first person view.
Yeah.
So you're looking out through the drone camera with goggles on, and that's what you see. Fancy having a crack at that?
Yeah.
Like being a bird.
Well, it sounds a lot more fun than the one that I bought, and I could never get it right. It was just crashing constantly. Just
Well, you only get like 5 minutes of flight time per battery, but I've got like 5 batteries.
well, that's it.
So you can fly, I mean, yeah.
I've noticed a lot of this
Sort of oak dieback, there's like
powdery mildew.
Yeah,
I've,
probably because it's been such a wet spring.
yeah, well, they'll. It shouldn't.
Sorry, did you want one of these?
You know, all the leaves obviously die off in the winter, and I guess it's another reason for doing it, and all the issues go with them. Because I've got one just out the front of our house in a pot, and last year it got covered in that, and I was left with nothing, just a stick, and I thought, well, I'll leave it.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it sprang back to life this spring. But I've just noticed it's got some of that. But I've got a little spray
Oh, cool.
which I can use for it.
Did you want
Oh, tap.
Sorry, do say, I'm just around so many non-smokers.
Yeah,
They like,
that's it. That's very much a good thing.
but yeah.
So, onto that. Is it-
Yeah, so there's going to be some juddery stuff if we put it all in the video. You know, it's a bit breezy. You might want to get out of this breeze. At least have your back to it. There you go.
Thank you.
See, if you spend a lot of time sailing, as I have, you can basically roll up in any weather. Because you're on that fucking wheel a long time. You know you burn 700 calories steering a sailboat an hour.
I can believe it. I can believe that. Application of torque, and if you and all you need to be is just a bit shorter, a bit thinner, you know, a bit lighter, and the job is 5 times as hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I tended to get put on the wheel. I like steering the boat. But I mean, I can't skin up with one hand, but I can basically, in any sort of G, any sort of wind, I can skin up somehow. Most rain. I haven't ever given up on rolling a cigarette while I was sailing, I'll put it that way.
Was the wheel covered?
Mhm.
And did
No, I was out in it. No wheelhouse tent or anything like that. No, that in the elements. I wish I had more footage of going sailing. Like if I had this technology, and I know I can probably mount the case somehow to that gimbal, as long as the weight doesn't mess it up, the extra weight of it.
Fucking hell, it's everywhere. Sorry, dude.
It probably will come from the same direction. No, these spores carried on the wind.
Yeah.
From over there.
Yeah.
They're all hitting the same side. There's not much blight on the back of them. It's all stuff that's exposed to this erosion.
The new growth, basically.
Yeah.
Good. Oh well.
No, I quite like to do this autumn, is try and make acorns edible.
Well,
You can.
well, yeah. Pigs eating.
Well, you just got to rinse the crap out of them.
All right. So, any practical use?
You can eat it.
Yeah, I guess.
That's its practical use. This is about as practical as you can get. The only trouble is that you've got to essentially chop them up really finely and put them in some kind of mesh where water can slosh around in them and the water can escape but the nuts stay inside. So you need like a net-topped bag. So you can hold a bag full of the things and it needs to be in running water to take all the tannin out and it needs to be left there about a day. But yeah, you can eat acorns. Ray Mills did that, wild food. That was probably the most useful Paleolithic history lesson that any bushcrafter could ever watch. It's like, this is the stuff that grows in England, here is how you eat it. Fantastic, because it still all grows wild pretty much. You know, things like hazelnuts, mace, tubers, acorns, mushrooms, berries, they work. You know, that will give you the edge, that will keep you just alive. Those are edible.
Is it elder?
Rowan.
Rowan.
See what I did there? No, there's, if you watch the earlier videos where I'm talking with Dean was starting to talk about plants, and that's mountain ash or rowan. If you want to process those, you want to rinse those off. But you can definitely eat things like hawthorn berries. They don't taste of much, but it is protein. Rose hips. Loads of random shit you can find out here. But acorns take a bit of processing before they're edible. But it's food. And even if it's not that nutritious, it's food that will stop you making stupid decisions because you're hungry.
Yes.
It's food that will keep you alive while you get good enough with a slingshot to take down a squirrel or two. Or a crow. If you're really frigging hungry. This is a new track, I haven't been up here. Nice, isn't it?
Yeah, beautiful. So, where's that up there then? Oh, where's that mill?
Well, that's got to be... So Daisy Nook Country Park is over here somewhere. That's Brookdale Golf Club. So whatever's Little Moss, I would say,
All right.
going from the route that the bus takes. I've got a reasonable sense of direction. I mean, we did abandon the Oldham Walk, but that was because of, you know, I could have got us to where we were supposed to go. We weren't going to get there in 3 or 4 hours. Depends how badly you need to be where you got to be. Down there's where I run. My running track down there. Do you know, something's happened in my exercise regime where I'm quite happy to go for a run now. But I'm less enthused about doing the circuit training, whereas it used to be the other way around. I started doing circuit training before I started running, and I hated running for weeks. We're supposed to.
All right.
You know, everybody hates running for the first couple of weeks that they're doing it. And then when you start getting like a reasonable time and a reasonable distance and you're not, you know, completely wiped out when you stop. So when you go for a run the next time, you sort of just go, right, I'm so far beyond what I'm being asked to run, I can run another mile. Or run another kilometre and get to my 5k. There, 5k, brilliant. I've worked out the sort of distance and the sort of places I've got to run to in order to do that.
So now I do one 5k run a week. And then I do another 15-minute run. It's probably about a mile and a half. And then I'll play with the idea of doing it on Sunday.
Right.
Well, on Sundays I do a timed mile and a half run sometimes, even when I don't necessarily need to. So I just got to get my technology sorted out for that. Maybe I should put myself with the camera and a microphone and just do a live lap and just play the whole thing live.
Yeah.
Because I'll have my watch on so I know how long it's taken.
It's slightly odd.
It's a weird style.
Yeah.
We are getting further away from home,
All right.
but you know.
Well, there's another, what's that? There's another path down there.
No,
Yeah,
no, that's the teeing ground.
What, oh, would it really?
There's a guy thinking about teeing off. Oh, we've teeing off too.
Okay.
Never seen that before.
No.
Yeah, we are further along this path than I've ever been. So exploration. We always do exploration. This is where we get zinged by golf balls because we were putting that guy off his shot. Like stupid. Yeah, man, isn't it exhilarating? Let's get like a mild high. Oh, we don't know where we're going. We know how to get back home. It's just one long path. We just got to follow that till we get to the bit we recognise. But this is interesting. Yeah, so if you're watching this, let's do the interested exploring bit. Sorry, A, that this is a long video, and B, that it's coming out later. But, you know, it's interesting.
Very much so.
You know, I'm doing what everybody that watching this should really be able to achieve at least one day a week is do interesting and cool stuff. Just one day a week. Changes you. Try it. Even if you're the only person who's interested. I've got to be one of the only people that is interested in the records that I bought. Or at least that combination of them.
Yes, I'd say so.
Richie Valens, The Monkees, Bob Newhart, Nigel Planer, The Jam, and what's the guy's name? Harry
Nielsen.
Nielsen, yeah. Paul McCartney was a good mate of his and was actually told on the same day. Like, he was that close a friend. They were phoning people, you know, like Paul McCartney and people from the Rolling Stones to let them know that, you know, he died. Paul McCartney found out and was on the Late Show and demanded that the band play a tribute and sang a couple of Nielsen songs.
All right. What with?
No, it was a truly interesting
Wasn't
guy.
Stephen Colbert?
I don't know, because it
I
was
know,
like
it-
1980
it-
or 1990.
So was
It's a
that
while ago now.
when it was Dave Letterman?
Yeah, probably. Just look up Harry Nielsen on YouTube. Maybe tribute concert or something. No, it was super popular. Wrote some diamond songs. I'm really looking forward to just sitting down and listening to that the Point album.
Oldham Way. This doesn't stop. Shall we turn around?
Oh no, it doesn't stop. It then basically, we're probably quite near Daisy Nook at this point.
I mean, if we walk back up there, or
I don't really want to do that just in case it brings us out like 5 miles from my house.
okay, right. So we follow this back.
We can definitely get back that way, but where it leads us back into civilization, it would be a brilliant map.
If we go past that where that fellow was teeing, we can probably drop down and find a lower path.
No, I know how we can get back onto the path that goes to the bridge.
it's all about. Well, now I know a very interesting way if I got to get a long way out of dogs.
What was that? It's something to help level it or something. Oh. I'm guessing that it's not been used in a while.
And if you're watching it this far, viewers of mine, do this. Go for a wander somewhere you haven't been and record it. Take an action camera. Or use your phone. You want to see it? Anybody that watches this wants to see it. This is our community. We're all creative people, otherwise we wouldn't be watching it. You know, I promise you there isn't anybody watching this that isn't like quite creative and capable of solving interesting little problems. That's what all my stuff is about.
Alright, I think one of your laces is undone.
Yeah, I know. I'm waiting till I can actually get somewhere I can bend down without there being barbed wire. Oh look, that's how it's going to go really tough laces. By the way, paracord makes really good shoelaces if you do it right. When you cut the paracord, melt the ends and then melt them very lightly and so you can stretch them out and they harden like the ends of shoelaces.
Yeah.
And you do that to the last inch of 2 bits of each end of the paracord. Brilliant laces. Use your knackered laces, guys, and cut yourself some paracord. And also, because they're not slippery, you probably need to do a triple knot bow instead of a double knot bow.
Ah, I was taught how to, by a marine actually how to do this. Right, so you see how you've gone there to your second and then your third. Yeah. Well, if you go to your third and then your second, it doesn't slip so much.
Oh right, yeah. Okay, that is a great idea. So it'd be like instead of that, you go to that,
Yeah.
and then you go down to that,
Yeah.
and then you do your knot.
Yeah.
Did you film that?
I did not actually. I don't think. Right, but I described it.
See, now you've got to film it.
Yes. Good point.
Right,
Are you doing it with this one?
Yeah. Do it. Well, you've got the all singing, all dancing camera with the nice microphone. Okay.
So
You
there you,
get to the top of them. Go up to your third. Down to your second layer of hooks, and then do your knot. And it's much harder for them to come undone. Thanks to Anonymous Marine.
Arnie.
Arnie, there you go. If there's any bunch of people that do not want their fucking shoelaces to come undone at shitty moments, it's probably the Marines. Probably anybody in the army or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can live without that if I do it a slightly different way. So I mean, what we do. What we do, we're rangers. That's why you should be worried about anybody who's got a sufficiently good collection at all.
Carry on.
Probably not people you want to annoy as a government. That's why so much stuff is entertainment.
Oh, it would be easier that way.
That's why we're distracted so much when we're not working. That's why we're supposed to eat crappy food and die when we're 65.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want to be forking out for your pension.
Yeah.
Heaven forbid.
Well, also they don't want you with a shitload of time on your hands if you're competent.
Well, they're just going to have to get used to that one.
I mean, how hard would it be for you to build, you know, even with just a 3D printer and some knowledge of Arduino basics and stuff like that, for you to come up with some kind of prosthetic limb? In fact, people with 3D printers have been making prosthetic limbs for people in poor countries for a while now. Because now we've got stuff like scanning technology, where you take like a load of photographs with a mobile phone, and then a piece of scanning compilation software works out the shape of the thing that you just photographed. That's a real piece of software. You know, so you've just dropped the cost of a piece of potentially useful medical software, and all you've got to do is put it on like an Android phone. There's your device scanner.
Well, it was the one was that.
You just export that image to any laptop, and that can drive the 3D printer.
It was the International Space Station.
Yeah, they got a couple of 3D printers up there now.
Yeah, printed a wrench.
Yeah, and used it. But you know, that technology is just finally. Do you remember how long it took for video recorders to get cheap? It took a long time.
Yeah, but these generations get shorter. The generational gaps.
Well, you know, sort of like now then it was DVD players, and they didn't take very long at all.
Yeah.
To get to an affordable price, and now they're just stupidly cheap.
And then suddenly you know it's the CDs before that, but the CDs and the DVDs, the blank ones themselves. You know, so suddenly you just got a stack of them for how much? It's like, well.
Yeah, you pay like 20 quid and you get 100. They're like, you know, stupid cheap each. You know, 20 pence a disc, and you could just run off movies and stuff like that. And then it went to downloads. I mean, it took nearly 15 years for broadband to be like countrywide and cheap enough. So now people don't bother to download movies because there's always a huge amount of movies available to you online. Why would you bother to burn it to DVD? Nobody does that. Well, they beat piracy because basically people said, let's pay something between £5 and £10 a month and get more media than we can actually watch. So the company that's getting all these £5 a month can give a slice of money to the people that made the movie, and everybody's happy. Because everybody's paying a little bit to watch the latest big movie. Fair enough, it's you know, it can be up to 6 months before a particular movie is available on something like Netflix or Amazon. But it will be there eventually. And I think that's what's pushed up the people going to see movies at the cinema again. Along with, you know, satisfying films being made.
Sorry.
It's mellow and green. It is amazing how light that rig is, considering what's in it. It really doesn't weigh very much at all. And all the mad random crap we can now do with it.
Absolutely.
Oh, it has been a day. Next week is going to be a much unboxing week.
Hmm.
Well, the new computer case coming in the 3D printer.
Left, right.
Left. If we can. Don't run. It's a bit, it might be a bit of a steepy. No, no, it's doable.
Right,
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna get your foot on that. Right.
You watch out for you. I fall over in these woods all the time. I'm like a little mountain goat. It is steep though. It's a variable 30 to 45 degree slope on leaf litter and mud.
Right.
Yeah, I know we can get up that. That's pretty cool. It's been down. This is about as far as I've been before.
That way? Oh, that way. This way.
Yeah. Yeah. I think people at work are going to look at me a bit weird. There's one guy at work whose hobby is making like lots of models.
Yeah.
You know, he's well into Warhammer 40k and stuff like that.
All right. Yeah.
Printing off a couple of models.
Yeah.
Which is go, there you go, dude. There's 2 you got for free, or 3 you got for free. I mean, if they come out like halfway decent, you know, it's I mean, they just got tons of stuff. Once I've figured out how you know, that I can do it and it prints out reasonably well and I'm getting good quality, there's 2 things I want to print, and they're just ornaments.
But what, a Shiva or something?
What?
What? Idols?
No, there's. Have you seen The Expanse?
No.
Okay, it's a sci-fi TV show that's really good. But there's a model of the starship from that, the main starship that they're all in, that I'd really like to print off. And the butter passing robot from Rick and Morty. You seen Rick and Morty?
I have.
You know when he builds that robot while he's talking
I've
to
not.
the family?
I've not seen. I've not seen that many. Jane doesn't like them, and even though they're on Netflix, I still haven't.
But there's this bit where he's sitting at the family breakfast table and everybody's talking over him, just being themselves. And while he's talking to them, telling them that their lives are worthless, he's building this little robot. And the robot comes online and he goes, "What is my purpose?" And he goes, "Pass the butter." And the robot goes away and brings the butter back. And then it goes, "What is my purpose?" And he goes, "You did steal it. You passed me the butter." And the robot has an existential crisis on him right there and then. Just goes, "Oh my God!" And he goes, "Yep, welcome to my universe." I really want them a little model of the butter robot. Like we were talking about, you know, subtle, like your t-shirt, your Alderaan weather forecast.
Yes, one of my favourites. Certainly.
But yeah, with the butter passing robot, like a subtle thing. So we're nearly home. We're back at this bit where we started. Oh, damn it.
Sorry.
No, there's an ash stave there.
All right.
It's really straight. I'm going to come back and get it tomorrow. I'll film me in the woods. We've got to get up and out of bed early. Saw that off, saw off the tip.
Right.
This, you know, it's a traditional material for spear hafts. I want to make myself a spear. No, you need to turn that off.
Right. Okay. Off it will be.